my channel. My name is Baylee. This is Bagels Books. I'm gonna do a vlog this month, I think, because I say I think because I'm really bad at starting vlogs and then finishing them. I don't know why, but I just forget that I need to be recording things. So I have no plans for February. Like, I don't know what I want to read. So I bought last year the cutest thing ever, and it is like these cards, and the one I got is called From Your Shelf, but they have all kinds, and these cards are like prompts. So it'll give you a prompt, and then you pick a book, and like I said, mine says From Your Shelf, because I want to be better about reading books from my shelf. So I've already shuffled them, and I'm going to draw a card, read you the prompt. Also, I will link these cards. She has an Etsy, and I really think she has a YouTube. Her name's Jacquie, and it's the cutest little cards. I'll show you them like this because I don't want to spoil it. And it says like Game of Bookish Cards, or Jacquie's Game of Bookish Cards. Yeah, there you go. So I'll link her and the cards below. So I'm really nervous. I don't know why. Okay, and I want to do this all month, I think. I think it'd be really fun to have these pick my books all month. You guys ready? I'll show you first. Okay. Read the smallest book on your shelf. Wow. Okay. I'll have to pause, and then I'll have to go look for my smallest book on my shelf. Okay. I found the smallest book on my shelf. At first, I was like, oh my God. I have to go through and look at all these page numbers and try to figure out which one's the smallest. But then my eyes feasted upon this. This is 137 pages. So I was like, I'm done. This is it. So this is Breach of Peace by Daniel Greene. Now, Daniel Greene is a YouTuber, and he talks about fantasy, mostly just fantasy books, and he decided to foray into his own. So I actually bought this for Joe because he really likes fantasy. He watches Daniel Greene, but it's the smallest book on my shelf, so I kind of have to read it now. And I've been wanting to kind of get into fantasy, so I don't know what this is about because I didn't buy it for me. I bought it for Joe, so I'm gonna read it to you. When an imperial family is found butchered, officers of God are called to investigate. Evidence points to a rebel group trying to stab fear into the very heart of the empire. Inspector Khalid begins a harrowing hunt for those responsible. But when a larger conspiracy comes to light, she struggles to trust even the officers around her. And the rest of it is just a freaking long review. So there's a murder and a detective. That sounds good. We'll see. I'm pretty sure this is like a prequel. I know there's at least one, if not two more books in this series already out. So, and I know it has a name, but I don't know what it is. Oh, it says book one. All right. Written in 2021. Also, these words are so large, so I love that. So, looks like this will be my first one. I'll come back. Well, I would like to do like halfway and then later, but it's so small. We'll see what I end up doing. Hello everyone, I'm just popping on to update because I did finish Breach of Peace this morning. After my work week, I literally woke up and I was super sick, was throwing up, felt terrible. So I haven't read in a long time because I had a headache and I just didn't want to read, I just wanted to close my eyes. But I started this last night and then I finished it this morning. So I kind of already told you that it is like these detectives investigating a murder. There's like a murder scene in the very beginning and they're going through it and they start to find stuff that's very weird and creepy. It is a fantasy novel, so it's not necessarily taking place in our world. So there's like some different things going on and it's very short, so I don't really know what all to say without ruining it. But it starts off, like I said, with this murder scene. They're investigating it. They start to find really weird stuff. It takes a strange turn. I'm very excited to read the next one though. I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, pleasantly surprised. So, I'm gonna order the next one, and hopefully it'll get here soon. Which I did inadvertently start a series, so that sucks. But that's okay. Also, when I was telling Joe about this, I was like, yeah, the first card I drew was the smallest book on your shelf. Guess which book that was? Because like I said, I ordered this book for him, not me. So I was wondering if he'd remember. He goes, oh yeah, Animal Farm. And I was like, oh no. And I went and looked, and Animal Farm is technically smaller than this book. But I read Animal Farm when I was in high school. So I was like, I already picked this book and I'm gonna read it. And I don't really want to read Animal Farm again. So it's not cheating because I'd read it. But that's technically the smallest book on my shelf, I guess. Okay, now we're gonna draw a card. I have been waiting for this moment for so long, which sounds very dramatic, and it is. But even before I started that book, I've been wanting to draw the next card to see what it's gonna be. So I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna let you see first. Okay. Read a book with a woman on the cover. That should be easy. Let's go look. Hi everyone, I just wanted to show you the book I ended up picking. The book's in my backpack, so this is just the sleeve. I'm glad my mom died. So, as you guys saw before, the card said, a girl on the cover. So, I picked this one. I had a lot to choose from. I think I put them all back, but here's one. Like, I had a lot with girls on it, and even more that, like, Daisy, can you sit? Oh, can you sit? Good girl. Can you sit? Can you lay down? Oh. Can you lay down? Thanks, girly. We got a package. And it's perfect because it's the second book to the book I read. Rebels Creek. Oh, shoot. It's way bigger. Also very cold. But, so this arrived. Let's see how many pages. 360 something. No, Daisy. It's not for you. It's for me. It's for me. Anywho, what I was trying to say was I thought I would have a lot of books with women on the cover. And mostly because I have a lot of books that say, like, you know, girl on the train, woman in the window, local girl missing. I thought we were done. Okay, let's try that again. I picked this. I'm glad my mom died by Jennette McCurdy because I've seen only nothing but great reviews, and a few people in my life have read it and are like, Baylee, you need to read that. So, finally chose it because Jennette's on the cover, so a girl. I did start it the other day at work. I didn't read very much, like the prologue and I think a chapter. But it's obviously it's an autobiography about Jennette's life and being a child actress and her relationship with her mother. And as the title suggests, her mother does pass away. I don't know how old she is when she passes away, but her mom was, from what I've gathered so far, definitely emotionally abusive. And it's just kind of like, you know, it's her mom, she still loved her, so it's kind of like her emotional battle and like her relationship with her mom. So like, yes, she said, I'm glad my mom died, but I mean, she was obviously sad her mom died. It's her mom, and I think it's just kind of like her struggle with losing a parent, but a parent she realizes abused her. I don't know if it was, you know, years later she realized what was happening or if she knew the whole time. Like, I'm not that far yet, but very excited to get into this one and see what it's all about. But I just wanted to let you know which one I picked before I go to work. So I will update you when I'm a little bit farther in. Bye.
I stand? Right here?
Wherever you want.
Okay. Maybe not.
Okay. Did you shuffle them?
I just like the
Okay.
one that I looked at. I like.
Okay. My friend Caitlin's here, and she's gonna pick the next card and the book.
Oh, I have to pick the book too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Read a book you think you will be. Oh my God! Can I take that? Read a book you think will be a 5-star prediction. So is it I think?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Because you have so many books that I want to read. Oh no.
Oh no.
There's too many. Oh gosh.
I know a book I would have picked, but I'm not gonna.
No, don't tell me.
Yeah, no.
You'll tell me after.
Yee.
Okay. Let me look.
You can move shit around
Okay.
because I have stuff blocking.
As
Like I have piles.
So I can put this
Yeah,
here?
yeah. This is the used one.
Okay. Oh well, I make you read
I
that
know.
one.
I was like, I knew you were gonna do that.
No, I won't make you read that.
I mean, I think you'd be fine.
It probably will, but okay, you probably read all of those.
No, but
Oh, you know what? We were just talking about that.
I'm gonna.
I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star though.
I don't either.
I mean,
Hang on.
5 stars hard. 5 stars hard. You have so many books,
Thank you for that.
and you just bought so.
I bought 2. Back up. One I'd already read.
Oh no, this is actually really hard. Okay, I'm gonna pick one. Oh my God.
There's 2 stacks beside you too.
These? Oh, I guess you haven't read all these, have you?
Nay. I've read
Oh.
none of those.
You know what? I'm gonna make you read this one.
You think I'm gonna give that 5 stars?
Yeah, I do. I've heard only good things about it.
Really?
Really?
Okay. You gonna read it with me?
Yeah.
Because you have it?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. You gotta grab it.
Okay.
I only have one hand.
And the author has the same name as me. She spells it different. She spells it wrong, but it's fine. This is what you're doing.
What's it about?
Oh, okay, I'll read it. Oh no, I'm dyslexic. I'm just kidding. Practical, unassuming Jane Soaringfield has done the calculations and decided that the most secure path forward is this: a husband in a marriage of convenience who will allow her to remain independent and occupied with meaningful work. Her first choice,
I like it.
the dashing but reclusive Dr. Augustine Lawrence, agrees to her proposal with only one condition: that she must never visit Lindridge Hall, his crumbling family manor outside of town. That's got like Crimson Peak vibes.
Yeah.
Yet on their wedding night, an accidental strands her at his door in a pitch black rainstorm, and she finds him changed. Gone is the bold, courageous surgeon, and in his place is a terrified, paranoid man, one who cannot tell reality from nightmare and fears Jane is an apparition come to haunt him. By morning, Augustine is himself again, but Jane knows something is deeply wrong at Lindridge Hall and with the man she has so hastily bound her safety to. The death of Jane Lawrence, Caitlin Starling crafts a new kind of gothic horror from the bones of a beloved canon set in the dark mirror version and post-war England. The Crimson
Dark
Peak.
Mirror.
It literally says the Crimson Peak inspired story. I fucking knew it.
It's probably because you'd read that before.
I watched it. Yeah.
What? You watched? No, I meant like you've read that. You have this book.
Oh, yeah.
You probably read that.
I probably have read that. And so I just knew. Okay, but it says the Crimson Peak inspired story assembles, then upends every expectation set in place by Shirley Jackson and Rebecca, and will leave readers shaken, desperate to begin again as soon as they are finished.
Yours is all fucked up. But it's 50% off.
Oh.
But I didn't care.
Okay.
This one's pretty though.
Yeah, it is
We were
pretty.
just bitching about hardbacks being black. Just like black underneath.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the
Yo, the struggle.
pretty basic, but it's a pretty color.
Yeah. Okay, that's my next one.
And that's the next one.
You know which one I'm surprised you didn't pick?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Because we were just talking about that.
I actually
Did you
didn't
not
see it.
He's like, I didn't
I didn't even say it.
That's
So
okay.
this one? No, because you and I have been wanting to read this for a buddy read for a really freaking long time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just read that.
What I would have picked is Gone Girl.
Really? You haven't?
I know. Clearly you haven't seen my reel that I literally just posted, bitch.
No, but I actually do now remember you saying on your last YouTube video that you're like, I love this girl, but I've literally not even read her like most favorite book.
Okay, everyone, I finished I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. I have a lot of things to say, a lot of thoughts, so I don't know how long this will be, so buckle up. First of all, I love how this book is written. So we'll just start with that. It is written in like before and after, and it's designated by when her mom dies, which I thought was really cool. And then it's also written in like present tense. So it feels like I'm reading a fiction book, like as these things are happening, if that makes sense. It's just like I'm looking down at the papers in front of me, not I looked down. You know, it's not like she's telling us the story as if it's already happened. You get what I'm saying? But I really like that. And I've listened to a lot of memoirs, and I don't distinctly remember that being a thing. But I don't know if that's because I listened to those and this is the only one I've physically read that I noticed it. So that's something I'd be interested in looking back on and seeing how those are told. But that was something I really, really liked about this, is that it was told in present tense opposed to past tense. There are a lot of like trigger warnings in this, you know, abuse of all kinds, all of them, physical, emotional, mental, gaslight, all the things, all of it, as well as eating disorders. If you have any eating disorder of any kind, even a smidgen of one, do not read this book. Do not read it. I think those are the two biggies for sure, but there's a lot of things going on in this book. I don't usually annotate books, but I wanted to annotate this one so freaking bad. And so I wrote down just like a bunch of quotes from it that I really liked a lot. I think it's crazy to read this because I used to watch iCarly. I don't know about any of y'all, but I watched iCarly, and you know, I knew who Jennette McCurdy was as Sam. And it's crazy to me reading this, knowing these are the things that were happening to her at this time. This is how she got into the industry, how much she hated it, how much she freaking hated her life every day on that iCarly set, how terrible they were to her. And it's just, it makes me feel like shit for watching the show, first of all, even though like I had no idea. There's no way I could have known that she didn't want to be there. But it just makes me feel like crap for ever watching that show, because it cost her so much of herself to do that show. And it's just like such a sad story of how she even got into acting and all that. One good thing that came out of iCarly, I do say, is she got a friendship with Miranda Cosgrove. Miranda's mentioned a lot in this book, and she, you know, talks very fondly of her. They sounds like they're still friends, honestly. Not as close as they were, but they're still friends, and she's mentioned a lot in the book. So I'm glad she got that out of it. If she was gonna get anything, I'm glad she got a good friend out of it. Dang. But yeah, this book was a lot. Like I said, it mentions eating disorders, so she does have, which I think she's pretty open about that in like interviews, that she has an eating disorder. But it was interesting to see her evolution of it. You know, she wasn't born with it. She wasn't. It's just kind of something that was, well, I don't think this spoils anything, but it was kind of like how her mom treated her. So her mom was very, first of all, very awful and weird to her, but she was very like, so this is an example. They went to a ice cream shop, and mom was like, hey Jennette, what kind of ice cream do you want? And she was like, cookies and cream. And her mom's like, what? You always get the coconut. Oh my gosh, you're changing what you like. You're growing up. Oh my gosh, I can't handle it. Like, she just went full send, crying, nutso spaghetti-o. And she's like, never mind, you're right, I want the coconut. So like, I feel like in a way she felt she couldn't grow up, change her mind, do anything her mom didn't want to do, because she just freaked out. So at one point, Jennette starts getting boobs, okay? Which happens to all of us. So then she goes to her mom and was like, Mom, well, first of all, she felt a lump. and was like, Mom, I think I have breast cancer, because her mom had breast cancer. And so she feels a lump in her chest. She freaks out, obviously. I freaked out when I felt the lump in my chest, and I don't even have somebody in my life with breast cancer. I'm sure we all freaked out when we found the lump. But anyway, her mom's like, no, it's just you're growing boobs, like you're growing up or whatever. And her mom, and Jennette was like, well, I don't want to. Like, what? Because in her head, she wouldn't be a kid anymore. She was like, I don't want that. How do I stop it? Her mom had an answer for her, which was, I can't even believe, but that is how her, like, eating disorder developed. She wanted to stay small and childlike, like she didn't want to grow up. And she even mentioned it, like, her part in iCarly, you know, was a young girl, and she was playing that part, I think, into her 20s, because she even did that spinoff where I'm sure she was the same age-ish, but she was in her 20s that whole time. So, like, she's trying to look younger than she is, and she did that by just not eating anything. And then it developed into binging, and then it developed into bulimia, which was really interesting to read, like, her thoughts around bulimia. I don't know, she wrote this really well, and, like, her thoughts surrounding all these, I think, are written really well and explained really well, which you find out later that she's always wanted to be a writer, not an actress. So it kind of makes sense this is written so freaking well and so good, is because that's what she likes. She likes writing. She doesn't like acting. But so she's pushed into acting because her mom wanted to be an actress. So her mom pushes it. Oh, no. No. Stop. I saved a quote I thought was really pretty. So I don't know if y'all know this, but they did like a reboot of iCarly. I don't know what it's streaming on, but there's a reboot. And so this chapter is like when Miranda calls her about the reboot and was like, and she's like, I'm not doing it. Like, you can't talk me into it. And Miranda was like, well, I'm gonna try. And Miranda was like, well, it's really good money. Like, I asked if they'd give you the same amount I'm making, and they said yes. And then Jennette says, I know, but there are things more important than money, and my mental health and happiness fall under that category. Wow, she would have never said that before. I don't know how old she is in the end of this, but I love that. I was like, wow, that's beautiful. If I were annotating it, I would annotate that. But that was really pretty. So it's just, she got a therapist she got a good therapist in the end who, like, helped her a lot. And so I think it was nice to see. Also, I'm everywhere, and I apologize. At one point, she got a therapist, which, you know, I'm not a therapist. I don't know a lot about that stuff. But in my opinion, her first therapist was awful. Like, in my opinion. I don't know, which I guess she thought so too because she stopped going. So, but then which I don't think that therapist was necessarily I don't know, but she just, like, went to a therapist because her boyfriend made her. So that's probably a thing. So I don't know if she was a specific eating disorder therapist, but I did not like her and her ways. But she just moved too quick. She was like, you need to do this now. Like, you stop right now. You can't do that. Wow, you're a failure. Okay, I don't think she said it, but she implied. And then she later on chooses herself to go to a therapist, and she seeks out a very good eating disorder therapist and goes to see him, and he's really great. And it was really cool to see her, like, evolution with him and her thoughts changing, kind of like that, like her mentality changing around food in her life and, like, other things in her life that didn't bring her happiness. I don't know, I just really, 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 really loved it. And it was written really well. 5 stars, all the stars, recommend. Okay. After I finished that book, I started reading, I did not finish this, The Death of Jane Lawrence, which I put a clip of. This is the one Caitlin chose. The card said a book that you think will be 5 stars. So she chose a book she thought I would give 5 stars, which she also has this book, so I think that's part of it. So I started this last night. I am on chapter 5, like 30, page 33. So far this one is about this woman, which I don't know if it says a time period. It doesn't, but it is not ours. I would say like 1800s, maybe early 1900s. It's like where with dowries and carriages and, you know, not our medicine, not our modern medicine by any means, but anyway, she, Jane, her parents have died and she lives with this family and they're moving and she doesn't want to move because she doesn't have money or something like that. She's kind of like well past the age where she should have been married. So she concocts this plan where she's going to find a man in the town she's living at currently to marry her. And it's a business arrangement. So she finds this guy, Dr. Lawrence, and he's a doctor. And she's like, you know, I'm really good at numbers and keeping books. Like, that's what I do for this guy I'm living with now. And he, you know, she kind of convinces him into this, like, business arrangement. So where I'm at right now, they don't get married. But by the title, I obviously know that they do. So, and his one stipulation so far, they're not married yet, but, you know, just kind of talking about it. And he's like, well, I have rules. And, you know, they're talking about rules and what they're going to do. And he was like, you can't come to my house, like my family house or whatever. And she's like, okay. Which is weird. And then he was like, but if you're going to work with me, I need you to come up to they call it the surgery, which is like, I don't know, like his doctor's office. But anyway, he's like, I need you to come up there one day and, you know, spend a day or two with me to see if you can handle it, because it's disgusting, which her first patient was kind of disgusting. He like came in with he was stabbing himself and he was like, get it out of me. And his guts were everywhere. And so she had to go in there and like grab stuff to stop bleeding. That's all I've gotten so far. They're trying to do this like business arrangement of a marriage because she doesn't have money for a dowry. And so that's kind of why she has to make it a dual purpose marriage. So she's trying to be like, well, I'll work for you instead of the dowry. You know, you don't have to pay me because I'll be your wife, but I'll do this job for you while you are saving me, because like no one else will marry her because she doesn't have a dowry and she can't move with her other family. She can't move with them. I think once again it's a money issue. So she's kind of like stuck. So that's about it so far. I am liking it. It was a little slow at first, but once they got to like the surgery, like something like happened in the surgery, it's starting to get a little dark and ominous. So very excited to see where that goes. But just wanted to update you. Finished that, started this. So my plans today are mostly just to read this book, drink coffee because I haven't had any, and read this book. So I'll update you soon.
Let's see you Tina dance.
Is that what she does?
No, but I like it.
Okay, everyone, I finally finished The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. I can't talk, it's fine. I ended up giving it, I gave it 3 stars. It's maybe more like a 3.5, but I gave it 3 stars on GoodReads. The house definitely got spookier, like we got to see some stuff, and it just kind of dragged for me. Like, I felt like it was too long, and there's a specific part in there I thought could have been shorter, which makes no sense, but mostly it was just, I think it was just a little too long and it dragged a little bit. Like, towards the end I was like, okay, I just want to finish this book. But I did really enjoy it, and I enjoyed the story as a whole, and I enjoyed the end, and I enjoyed, you know, there wasn't anything I could pinpoint like, oh, I didn't like that. It was just getting to the point where it was too long for me. So I felt like, which one, I guess I could have given it 4 stars. It just doesn't feel like a 4 stars, because at the end, like about 100 pages left, I just really wanted the book to end. Like, I just wanted it to wrap up. It's 360 pages, which doesn't seem that long. I don't know. I just feel like it really dragged, but I did really enjoy it. And if you, I prefer thrillers. I prefer fast-paced books. I like to constantly be like, oh my gosh, what's happening next? What's happening next? Like, I want to constantly feel like I'm on the edge of my seat. So if you're okay with like a slower burn, or, you don't have to be fast-paced at all times, I think you would enjoy this a little bit more than me. And this book compares itself to Crimson Peak, which I can definitely see the similarities, and the house, the whole haunted house, spooky aspect of it was definitely there. Like, I really enjoyed all of that, but like I said, it's just the pace for me that I wish it was a bit faster paced or less slow towards certain parts of it. But really enjoyed it, really enjoyed the end. Dang, now that I'm talking about it, maybe I should give it 4 stars, because it was just that one thing I didn't enjoy. Okay, I might give it 4 stars. I've talked myself into it, but if you've read this, let me know what your thoughts were, because it's been out for a while. It's not a new book by any means. Let us see. Oh, 2021, so 2 years. So let me know what you thought of this book, if you've read it. So I'm just gonna recap everything that we read. Oh yeah, and it definitely wasn't 5 stars though, which was the whole card on this one, was a book you thought would be 5 stars. Well, my friend Caitlin picked it, but. So, recap, the smallest book on your shelf. I chose Breach of Peace by Daniel Greene. Really enjoyed this one. Gave it 4 stars. A book with a woman on the cover. I read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. 5 stars. And a book that you think will be a 5 star, but I had my friend Caitlin pick, is The Death of Jane Lawrence. Gave it 4 stars. So, I mean, all in all, that's pretty good. A 4, a 5, and 4. That's amazing. But it took me a really long time. Like, for you, obviously, this video is as long as it is. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's been over a month I've been trying to read these books, because I've read other things in between, and I went on vacation for a week and I didn't read really, and then I work, which really puts a damper in things. But those are all the books I read for this vlog. Let me know if you liked the card situation, because I really enjoyed it and I would love to do it again. I really loved this, because I wouldn't have picked up Breach of Peace maybe ever, unless Joe read it and said he really liked it and thought I liked it. But I loved that book, and I just would never have picked it up. And I've been wanting to read I'm Glad My Mom Died. I just don't know when I would have picked it up. And same for The Death of Jane Lawrence. Like, obviously I owned it and I've been wanting to read it, but I don't know when I would have picked it up without this. So I really enjoyed this. So if you enjoyed this style, let me know, because I would love to do it again. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.